What's up, you guys? Steve here with another stimulus package update, and man, today there have been a lot of updates rolling out. Today we heard from the governor of New Hampshire, who said, "I'm sick of them all, they've done nothing, fire all of Congress." So I'm going to share with you that clip in this video, and I think I've seen those exact same words in the comments in some of my videos before. And today we also heard from Larry Kudlow. I'm going to share with you that clip, and usually he's very optimistic, and today he did not paint a pretty picture. He said talks have pretty much slowed down, and the good news is they haven't stopped. So also we've heard from senators, members of the Senate, that said it's pretty much midnight on negotiations, that they're pretty much over. The only person that seems to be optimistic about us having an agreement before the elections right now is Nancy Pelosi. So let me know your thoughts. Do you believe her, or do you feel like she has promised and promised so many times now that it's hard to believe her, and it's pretty much official that we're not going to have a stimulus package agreement before November 3rd? Let me know your thoughts, but in this video, I'm going to share with you the latest clips, get you caught up on everything as of today, Monday, October the 26th, so that way you can stay up to date on what's happening. Now, before we dive in, if you could do me a quick favor, just smash the like button. It helps out the channel. I would appreciate it. Like button, comments, and sharing this video out to people who need this updated information helps me out. Thank you so much. I would appreciate it. And also, if you haven't already, be sure to smash the subscribe button and the notification bell so that way as soon as I upload videos, you can get them right away. And also, if you don't, be sure to follow me on Instagram at SteveRam3. But now let's dive into the latest clips and news for today.
Governor, when it comes to Congress, though, you've pretty much had it with both parties in terms of the stimulus talks and this continuing delays and nothing getting done, right? You're ready to throw all the bums out.
Fire them all. I mean, I really mean that sincerely. No one in the Senate or Congress can say that they've shown leadership on the COVID crisis. What have they done since March? Like literally nothing. They made a lot of promises, but they've literally done nothing. No leadership, no innovation, no challenging the system, right? They've kind of thrown their hands up and walked away from the whole thing. They said they were going to do some stimulus. They walked away. Look, I just say, put it this way. Would the country be better or worse off if you replaced all 535 of them today? I think the odds say would probably be a little bit better, right? Because you get the political nonsense out of the picture. You get all of that things that have just clogged the system up so badly. It's like you got a pipe that is so clogged, all the Drano in the world ain't going to clean it. You got to cut the pipe out and start again. And I think that's what you're going to see over the next few campaign cycles here. I think the people of America are sick and tired of nothing. You've got to manage. You've got to move the ball forward. You have to show leadership in some way. They've done virtually nothing. So I think we're going to get a stimulus package after the election, probably in early 21. I think it'll if the Democrats are in there, it's going to be an astronomical amount of money. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, flexibility to the states, flexibility to the states. Trust us, as governors, we know what we're doing.
Wow. What do you guys think about that? Do you agree with him? Do you feel like they should just all be thrown out because they've had pretty much accomplished nothing for us? Let me know your thoughts. Meanwhile, however, we've heard from Nancy Pelosi today, who remains optimistic. However, she is also alluding to the fact now that they might not have a deal done before the elections. As she said the following: "We'll be working until we have something that the president will sign. I don't see any circumstance where the House and the Senate would have a bill that the president wasn't going to sign." She goes on to say, "We really need to get a bill done, but whatever it is, we'll be ready in the new Congress." The new Congress, alluding to after the elections. The article further down says this is not the first time Pelosi has expressed optimism to complete a deal, while also acknowledging that it might not be ready for a vote until after November 3rd. Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin are set to speak today, though talks have apparently slowed down, according to White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow on CNBC. Now, I want to go ahead and share with you that clip of Larry Kudlow where he says the talks have slowed down, and the good news is they haven't stopped.
I'm almost embarrassed to ask because at this point it just seems like tilting at windmills. My guess is we're not going to get anything done in the next month, and potentially not for at least 3 or 4 months after that, as you wait for the new Congress to be seated and for Inauguration Day. What do you think is really happening here?
Well, look, I don't want to make any predictions on this. The talks have certainly slowed down, but they're not ending. I mean, one thing I will say is the committee chairmen on both sides, Senate and House, have been meeting and discussing various aspects, you know, the small business loans and many other issues, different appropriations. We'll get a report this morning. Secretary Mnuchin will be talking to them. I think he's going to be talking to Speaker Pelosi. The big issue here right now is we're close, but there's still important policy issues that separate us. And our team believes there have to be more compromises on the House side for us to get there. Becky, I don't want to be optimistic. I don't want to be pessimistic. I'm just kind of reporting where I think we are. Secretary Mnuchin will probably speak on it later today after he checks in with the Speaker and some of the committee chairmen and see if anything moves. But right now, unfortunately, the goalposts have moved. There's still some unanswered questions.
Hey, Larry, we had Governor Sununu on from New Hampshire earlier today, and he says that he'd like to see every member of Congress fired, all 535 of them, because the American people are suffering while this stimulus bill gets booted back and forth. He says, forget it. We'd be better off if we had brand new congressional representation all the way across the board because of this. I just want to ask, as an economist, what happens if we don't see anything done between now and, let's say, early February?
Well, look, you know my view that this is a strong V-shaped recovery. I mean, lots of new numbers have come in.
Wow.
The third quarter is going to be a very positive quarter, no question about that. And just recently, we've had big numbers on housing sales and
like how they show the stock market just falling while he's saying
retail
it's going to be better.
Manufacturing, inventories have to be rebuilt. Even continuing claims plunged 1 million last week. So look, I think that the recovery, although there's a lot more work to do, let me be clear on that, especially on the employment side, nonetheless is proceeding probably faster than most folks thought. So I'll make that point. Second point is we've always argued, you've heard me say this, I think, certain areas could be helped by a deal, okay? Particularly, let me repeat, I'd like to see unemployment assistance. You know, the president led with a executive order on unemployment assistance, the $300 plus $100 from the states. That's running out. So it would be a good thing. We put half the people have gone back to work. We didn't put them to work, but half of them gone back to work. I'd like to see some assistance on the unemployment side. I think the PPP small business would be extremely helpful. I think anything to do with helping schools open,
I think we'd all
COVID-19 related
see some help
renovations, they need some help. The airlines need some help. In other words, there are specific targeted areas. We don't need a gigantic ideological political bill here. What we need is some targeted assistance area that would be a great help. That's been our view. So I don't want to predict where, when, how, and why, and so forth. They're still talking. But I acknowledge the clock is ticking. And of course, the big thing today is going to be Justice Barrett getting sworn in. I think she won't be sworn in, but I think she will pass the Senate.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. So pretty much you heard him. And usually, like I said, he's honestly really optimistic. Usually after he speaks, the stock market starts soaring because he usually brings a lot of good news. But in this case, as you can see, in my opinion, he honestly, I think he's not saying it, but I feel like he believes that we're not going to have an agreement before the elections. And he's saying that he feels like it needs to be targeted, that they want to pinpoint specific needs, such as he mentioned the unemployed. And he's saying he doesn't feel like they need a comprehensive stimulus package and they can't reach an agreement on certain topics with Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. Now, speaking of the stock market and it taking a dive, today it did quite a bit as we saw the highest record-breaking daily new cases of the virus in the United States. In addition to that, we still don't have any stimulus package agreement in sight before the elections. So we saw things go down quite a bit. And I'm actually going to read an excerpt from a report that I saw earlier today that says stocks recouped from some of their losses late Monday afternoon, but the Dow still had its worst day since early September as worries over fiscal stimulus, virus restrictions, and corporate profits continued to undermine sentiment among investors. With just over a week before the U.S. presidential election, negotiators appear to be at an impasse over fiscal stimulus bill. The virus resurgence appears to be at the top of the list of market worries. Cases are spiking in Europe, provoking talks of shutdowns in places like Italy and France, and in the U.S., cases hit a record high and are growing at a rate of 32%. Clip from 2 weeks ago. And a lot of people are saying that whatever hopes we had of having a stimulus package before elections pretty much came to an end today as senators are planning on leaving the Senate, and the last thing they're planning on doing is pretty much voting in the new Supreme Court justice. And however, Nancy Pelosi is still saying she is optimistic that we can come to an agreement. And today we saw the following tweeted from Drew Hamill. He said, the Speaker and the Secretary Mnuchin spoke today at 2 p.m. by phone for 52 minutes. That's today. This was just posted 2 hours ago. As the nation faces record spikes in new cases, we continue to eagerly await the administration's acceptance of our health language, which includes a national strategic plan on testing and tracing. We are hopeful their response will be positive as we also await the outcomes of talks between committee chairs. It is clear that our progress depends on Leader McConnell agreeing to bipartisan comprehensive legislation to crush the virus, honor our heroes, our essential workers, and put money in the pockets of American people. The Speaker remains optimistic that an agreement can be reached before the elections. Now, as I mentioned, Nancy Pelosi's optimistic perspective is not shared by members on Capitol Hill, as today we heard from Alabama Republican Senator Richard Shelby, who said, I think it's about midnight, in reference to the stimulus package negotiations. Now, the Senate is likely going to be voting on the new Supreme Court justice, and that likely will be the last thing they vote on before they leave to go back on the campaign trail. Now, I'm going to read a quick excerpt here from a report that talks more about it, where it says that this will likely be the last floor vote before the elections, clearing senators up for the re-election to hit the campaign trail for the final week. House members have been gone since early October. It says the Senate is slated to return to session November 9th, the week after the elections, while House members are not due back until November 16th. When they return, they face a deadline of December 11th to reach an agreement on another stopgap funding bill to keep the government open. So when they get back, they're also going to have to change their focus to providing another stopgap funding bill so that way we don't have a government shutdown. So not only are we still going to be looking for some sort of stimulus package agreement, that's going to be on the table as well. And we also heard from Senator John Thune, who said, my sense is that when you get past this kind of hot rhetoric of the moment, that most people believe that even though we can't do everything, that we ought to do something, alluding to the fact that he wants more targeted, direct stimulus help as well, even if we can't come to agreement on an overall stimulus package. And we also heard Shelby also say, we'll see what happens, but we'll just have to wait and see. So it's looking like a lot of people are feeling like we're not going to have a comprehensive stimulus package agreement by elections. But let me know your thoughts. Do you believe there is still a glimmer of hope? We have until November 3rd. Well, you guys, that is your stimulus package update as of today, Monday, October the 26th. Wanted to get you caught up on everything that's been unfolding, and as more information rolls out, I will be sure to share it here on the channel so that way you can stay up to date. I am hoping that we can come to some sort of agreement this week, right before elections, and I would be glad to report that to you, and if it does, I'll be sure to share it. And once again, if you haven't already, if you appreciate these updates, if you could just smash the like button, it helps out the channel. Thank you so much. And also, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that way, as soon as I get these updates, I can share them and you can get them right away. And also be sure, once again, to follow me on Instagram at SteveRam3. And if you'd like to be a part of something positive and encouraging, a group of us get together on Thursday evenings on Facebook at teachjesus.app and do Bible studies. Just a simple invitation if you might be interested. And also, if you might be interested in 3 free stocks, there's a link in the description below. When you download the Webull app and fund your account with as little as $100, you can get 3 free stocks. Well, you guys, I hope this reaches you well. I hope to have some good positive news hopefully coming out this week. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.